Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is another episode of the C++ for Beginner series, and in this video I have actually kind of finished the system of writing stuff into accounts already. And we actually I have changed the system from what we had yesterday, because the system that we were working on for the previous few videos is essentially not going to work for our account. So if I go in my account, you can see we have got here a bunch of different variables, and one of them is a string called name. Now the way we were doing it, by just writing the whole account into the file, would only work for a plain old data structure. But this is not a plain old data structure, because it consists of a string, and a string consists of pointers and stuff, and a structure that consists of pointer is not a plain structure, which means that we cannot actually use this class like normally. We cannot save it like we did normally. So I have actually created two functions here. One is called write to file, and one is called read from file. Now these both take an f stream, and this and signs mean that we take a reference, which means that it does not copy the f stream, but instead gives us the actual value of the f stream, the real f stream, which we can use to write or read. So we have got these two functions. Now let's go to the implementation of these functions. So first of all, we have got our write to file function. Now in here, we first of all go ahead and fs.write, and then we write our id, and the way we you are used to doing it, you just say const character and then a pointer, and then go ahead and say and id and size of id. So like that, and then we do that with the same for the size of balance, and write the balance. Now then we have to write the name, and as I said, you cannot write the string normally, because the string is not a plain old data structure. So in order to write this, what we do is we first go ahead and store the size of the string in a number called size. Then we write that size into the file. So we write the actual size of the string into the file, and then what we do is that we write the actual string. Now we use this c underscore string, which gives us a plain string, which is just an array of characters. It gives us a plain c like string, this function, and then we write it, and for the size we just give the size of this, which means that first we store the size, so that we can actually find out what the size of the string is, because obviously the name can be of different sizes, it does not necessarily be one size. And then we go ahead and do all of this, and this is essentially going to work. So let's go from read to file. Now as far as reading is construct, we obviously don't put const here, because that means constant, but we read like the id and balance normally. And then as far as the string is concerned, first we go ahead and say size underscore t and create a variable which calls size, which is equal to 0, and then we read the size first, which we remember stored earlier. Then we can actually read the size. Then we go ahead and create a, now I'm going to actually go ahead and create a character pointer here. Now remember that a C string, the essential plain string, is basically a character pointer that points to a location where the string is stored continuously. So we are creating a C string of our own saying character pointer, and we are going to call that underscore name to make it different. And then we are going to use new car and this function. Now we have not studied about this yet, how new and this is supposed to work, but just understand that when we say new, that is essentially creating a this means an array. So we are creating an array of size plus 1, which is the size of the array, and then we are using the new to create a new array, and then we are basically putting that in the pointer. Now why we are doing size plus 1? Because every string in C or C++ and most other languages is ended by a 0. So it's a literal 0, the value 0 in the string, but the way you put it in the character is by saying /0, and that basically identifies where the string ends, because there is no other way to know where the string ends. So this basically is used to do that. So the reason we do size plus 1 is because we are going to store the string, and then we are going to store the 0 size. So we go ahead and say fs.read, and we read the size into this string, because you cannot read it directly into the C string, because that's a constant value. So we read it into this string, and then we go ahead and set this string, and we take the last value, which is, remember, since the essential thing starts at the indexing starts at 0, then this size is essentially gives us the last index, and we are going to set that to 0, or you can also go ahead and do it like this. So this is the terminating character, and then we set our name, the actual name, to be underscore name, which converts this to a special string and stores it. So this is basically what it works like. Now back in the main file, if I actually go here, what you can see I do here is that if the file is open, then we go ahead and go let's go first to here. So when we close the file and then we open it again in this mode, and we go ahead and we create a variable called size, and we set that to the account size, which is the number of accounts that we have got. Then we store the number of accounts, because if we don't know how many accounts, then we can't read them, so we need to store the number of accounts like that. And then we are going to go ahead and for account we are going to like this is a special kind of loop. So a for loop, a special kind of for loop, and you can basically do this to kind of loop over each of the elements of an array, and each element of the array will be called a, and the vector or array is accounts. So for each of the array we are going to go ahead and say a dot write to file fs, and we are going to use that function. Then we are going to close. Now as far as reading is concerned, we create a size called integer called size, a size underscore t called size, and then we are going to read that size, because we remember we store the size first. Here we store the size, and here we are going to read the size, and then we are going to use accounts dot resize method to actually set it to that size. And then we are going to go ahead and loop over each of the accounts, and we are going to remember adding an and here, because we want to loop over it by reference so that we can actually change it. And then we go ahead and say a dot read from file, and we provide it with the fs. Now we repeat this function after each of the transactions here, and that is basically going to work. Now if I start, and currently I've deleted the account.dat file, so here we have got basically an empty here. It asks me to enter the name of a new account. I say David, and then it asks me to enter the starting balance of the new account, and let me kind of let me actually zoom in a bit. So yeah, just press control and do this. Alright, so starting balance of the new account, I'm going to say 80, and then I'm going to go ahead and deposit $20 into this. New balance 100, and then I'm going to go ahead and quit. Now let's go ahead and start again. Alright, and here if I go ahead and say info, you can see it says name is equal to David, ID is 1, and the balance is 100. And if I like withdraw $50, then it leaves 50, and if I start again and get info, you should see that we have got 50, which is pretty awesome. Now this is obviously not complete yet, because we need a way to add more accounts, and we also need a way to make our ID system actually proper. So we are going to do that in the next video. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next one, and share this video with other people, and bye.